So moving on, we will be moving on to the next section, which is the last. Probably I won't say that that's the last section. Yeah, basically. Yeah, because we still have some other sessions, giveaway and the palliative. Yeah, you know. So we'll be moving on to the next section where I will be bringing Rachel Onoja on the call. Hello, Rachel. How are you today?
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good to have you on the call this evening. Sorry for
Same
keeping you
here.
because of the other engagements, and thanks for your patience. Yeah. So
Yeah,
also,
thank you for having me.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Uh, okay, let me quickly share my screen.
Over to you, Rachel. Yeah.
Okay, just to be sure, can you see my screen clearly? Okay, yeah, still working on that. Present. Okay, hi, everyone. Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining this session. My name is Rachel Onoja. I am a program associate with Decagon. At Decagon, what we basically do is we train software engineers, providing access to internet, internet, a laptop, accommodation, feeding, stipends, health insurance over a period of 6 months. You could literally start from zero to say intermediate within 6 months. Get access to local internship for 3 months, international internship for 3 months, and then we support you to get through interview processes, and then get hired by a company, and then after all of that, we work with the whole Harvard student loan process, then you start paying back tuition. Well, so at Decagon, my role revolves around, before Decagon, I have always been a community person. I still am a community person. I'm the Women Tech Makers lead for GDG Bauchi and WTM Bauchi. And I'm also, recently I became the Women Tech Makers mentor for all the ambassadors in Nigeria. So prior to
Sorry,
that, my
sorry for. I think you are not sharing the right screen. Yeah, we couldn't see the screen that you are presenting. If you are reading from the screen, from your slide, really.
okay, I'm not reading from it. I want to believe it's showing embracing the strengths of personalities, right?
No, not at all. It's showing the presenter video. I think the back side, the presenter view that is being
Okay.
displayed.
Oh wow. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Better.
Yeah, perfect now. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So through that, basically my role, everything, my career has been revolved around supporting developers in the non-technical way, trying to see how I can provide access to resources and everyone, connecting you to the right person to help you advance your career, and then trying to see how you can use your non-technical qualities to be a better developer. So for today, I'll be speaking on embracing the strengths of our personalities. Just before I get started, I think it's best for us to actually understand what our personalities are. And I believe that every single person here knows their personality. If you're not sure, I will be sharing a link for you to check that out, and then understanding your strengths. Our strengths, most of the time, people actually know what their strengths are, but most times they are not so confident about it, or they try to shy away from it because their strength actually comes with great responsibilities. So people tend to shy away from that and just put up a facade. Okay, this is what I want to be. Or sometimes our weaknesses tend to affect our strengths. So in the whole you're trying to fix your weaknesses and then you ignore your strengths. And then through that whole process, you tend to lose yourself. You tend to lose actually what you're supposed to be putting out there, how you're supposed to be impacting the world. So today's session is going to help us cover briefly. We don't have much time. So what are strengths? According to Wikipedia, it's a state of quality or a state of being strong bodily or muscular power, vigor, mental power, force, moral power, firmness, or courage. Now, all of these are adjectives that present it in the right way. But then, for the sake of this particular presentation, we want to talk about your soft skills. Say things like your leadership. You have leadership. Your strength revolves around leadership, problem solving, kindness, motivation, like literally the human part of you that you're bringing into your developmental environment, whereby at your company or maybe in your school or where you are serving or wherever it is you find yourself, how can you bring in your strength, the strength of your personality? Now, before we get ahead, I would like to quickly identify that for those who are not so sure, we have three main personalities. We have introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts. Extroverts are people who enjoy being on their own. Literally just there, I just want to enjoy my company. I find I derive strength from my company. I derive passion. I derive joy. I feel more energized after spending so much time with just myself, staying at home, not socializing with people a lot. It doesn't mean that they don't socialize with people. Well, they do, but then mostly you find introverts being actively social when they are in the midst of people who are like their clique, people who understand them. An introvert can be in a room and they don't really understand, okay, the people who are there are not, maybe they don't understand that person's personality, and then the next thing you hear is that person is rude and all that. But introverts are not rude, they just have ways of being in their own space. So that is something that we should really understand. Then extroverts are people who are really amazing, extra energized in every way possible. Like you could quite literally walk into a room and meet an extrovert and they might have never met you before, but then you will spike some kind of amazing conversation and it will just run through that and you will enjoy the conversation. And just after that, you realize that, okay, whatever embodiment of joy and passion that person has, just within that moment, that person rubs it off on you. And those are people who are very important to the society, because if we just have introverts, it's not really great because introverts are mostly just there, mellow. So the balance within between extroverts and introverts is what makes a more balanced life easier to achieve. Then we have ambiverts. Ambiverts are people who sometimes they are introverts and then sometimes they are extroverts. That is there in the middle, and you want to. These are people who, yes, they enjoy being alone, but then they wouldn't mind actually going out and having fun and then just coming back. Now, the thing is, introverts feel drained when they are in very stimulating environments. I think I could really attest to that. Like personally, I tend to have like my people time. I go out and from within say 3 4 hours, I know that okay, my people time is elapsing. I need to do and get back home and get more recharge. So I find personally like okay, it's important for you to be able to identify your personality, because that is where you'll be able to drive your strength from. For the sake of this session, I would like to focus on introverts because these are people, most devs are introverts or ambiverts. We have extroverted developers, but then most of the time they're actually introverts. Now, the thing is, when you go to a workplace, developers are not always some developers, let me not say all developers, some developers are not always able to express themselves fully. They just want to be in the back stage, doing their thing, pushing their code, pushing features, amazing features that is changing the world. But then They do not want all that extra stuff. Now, there are people who want the extra stuff, like they want the extra stuff. So the idea is this: you want to, assuming you're a developer who finds it difficult because you see that your weaknesses, that is not being able to express yourself so much, is actually affecting your work. I think this talk, this particular presentation is for you. So for the sake of this presentation, I would like to speak on three main points. Know your wrong-handed moments. Your wrong-handed moments are your weaknesses. Let's say, for instance, I'm right-handed, like my right hand is more dominant. So say I want to, usually if you want to throw something with your right hand, it projects easier and it goes directly, at least if you're good at maybe basketball, handball, or shot put, it goes directly to where you're trying to send it to. But then if you're trying to use your left hand, the projection, the angle may not exactly be where you are sending it to. So the idea is you want to know your wrong-handed movements and try to see how you can complement them. Say you're someone who has difficulties during meetings, you are not so great speaking up. So the idea is you want to find a way whereby you want to project your ideas about what can help the company be better during, say, in the chat session. Yeah, you don't actually have to talk, but then in the chat session, if you can keep dropping hints and all that, that would go a long way to actually show that, okay, this person is actually quite visible. And when you come to look for promotion later on, everybody will know that, yes, during meetings, this person is always putting words out there. So it's not that, okay, you can't talk, then you feel, okay, maybe I'll just keep quiet through the meeting. And that's how the whole meeting will go through. And at the end of it, people will be like, did this person even attend the meeting? So you could also talk to your manager, your line manager, the person you work hand in hand with. You want to identify, okay, let's say, let's use tech skills, development skills. Say you are better at UI UX development, and then it's a company where your engineering team is not so large. So the idea is you want to look for how, okay, this person, you are better at digital, yes, you are good at UI UX. This person is good at analytics, and then you are being given analytics work, and maybe the analytics person could be part of the finance team. You could actually talk to your manager that, okay, for tasks that involves UI UX and a little bit of analytics, I would like to talk to this person to support me through it. Your managers actually want you to perform at maximum, so they would be okay with that. Then you want to also actually skill up, because nobody wants someone who is there and not making money for the company. So the idea is you want to be able to skill up, give every of your time, as much time as you can, into learning new skills, into embracing new things. Now, then know your right-handed movements. Say opportunities where you want to, in your right-handed movements, you want to identify three main things. You want to identify who, when, and how. Who is that? In what environment do you do better? Like, okay, who is there? Who do you work with? Like when I said you could bring someone from the finance department to support you, you want to identify when this person in finance is actually around me, I work better, I experience more, I put in so much more of myself. So such things, you want to identify who are the people who, when you are around, you give in more of yourself. Then you want to identify where do you enjoy going out into nature, and then you're coding and you're enjoying yourself, or maybe you are having a task that usually you would be slow or you would procrastinate. So if you can get those tasks and then go to somewhere your happy place, so in that particular moment you are finding a strength and then merging your weakness, bringing your weakness into that particular situation to ensure that you are able to give so much of your energy and your best work into achieving that particular thing. So that is identifying where. So you want to identify, is it a coffee shop, you do better there? Do you enjoy noisy environments to work better? Do you prefer silent environment? Personally, I prefer silent environment to work better. So you want to identify this time. Then you bring in your those tasks that you would naturally procrastinate or put off for a longer period, you do it within those moments. Then the how. Now it's about what technique are you using, that normally when you are using this particular technique, say same UI/UX, say you are using Adobe XD and it takes so much more of your time, it's draining and all that, but then you realize that Figma does the work best, and maybe you need a subscription. Your line manager is like the best person to go to in this situation. Again, go to your line manager and be like, okay, this is what I need most for this, and I need money for subscription. And if they see that it's going to effectively help your work, they will definitely give it to you. Then the next thing is, how do you impact the world through your strengths? You want to identify, like I said, begin at the beginning of the talk, the main thing is you want to identify your strengths. Impacting the world through your strengths revolves around trying to see, okay, my weaknesses, how do I convert them to my strengths? Now, another tricky thing about your weaknesses and trying to convert them to your strengths is that sometimes your weaknesses are actually some of the are things that actually make you better at what you do. That is, say a lady gave a particular illustration about how she she paints flowers, and when she's painting, the first three, four, five petals that she's painting, they look perfect. But then eventually, when she's getting to the last two petals, the space is so small, and then she has to cram everything into that particular spot. Now, what she realized is it's more like a signature part of her work. And then through that, a friend of hers, whenever she tries to perfect it and then get enough paper and there's all those cramming is no longer there, the friend is not always happy with that. So she later put it up on like a review site for people to review her drawing. The one that has flaws and the one that is perfect, which is better? And people preferred the flawed ones. The idea is for every single human, we all have our flaws. It's about being able to ensure that your flaws are not affecting your work, your flaws are not affecting people around you, and your flaws, it's not the whole, some people will say, I am who I am, deal with it. No, nobody wants to deal with nonsense. And when you get to a workplace and people are like, okay, this person is not performing well, this person is not even trying to change their attitude, you could get fired. Like, it's that easy. Or you say, these particular skills, I'm not able to bring them to the table. So whenever a task come around this, I'm not going to do it. You have deliverables to file in at the end of every month. If you're not delivering, like someone called me 2 3 days ago and she was telling me that sorry, she wanted to let me know that she got fired. She has like a side gig apart from her main job, and then she got fired from it. I was like, okay, why? Because I supported in trying to help her get one of those jobs. And I was like, why? What happened? And then she was like, they said she's not delivering. I asked her, were you delivering? And then the thing is, you know when you are actually wrong. So your strengths should be able to cover up for your weaknesses. But if you decide that, okay, you want to just ignore your weaknesses, that's why I said building up skills. Every day is about unlearning, learning, and relearning. It's the idea of you want to be able to pick up these particular new skills, add it to your OKRs for the month, do it, and then by adding those skills, you add more value to yourself. By the time you are negotiating for a higher salary, somebody at the beginning of it, your HR will be like, okay, at the beginning of this, when this person joined the company at first, this person did not have these skills, but then this person has been able to increase the skills. This is more value that they are bringing, and they could help us earn more money as a company through this. So these are things that you do for yourself. So as much as your strength revolves around leadership, say your strength, the way to actually embrace most of your strengths is putting yourself in situations where you have to actually put in your effort into these things. Say you hire in a company and then a particular day things are not going so well. Are you great at motivational speaking? This is the best time to put your skills out there. Are you great at problem solving? Are you great at analytics? That is, these are moments where you want to identify the things you are better at and then putting them out there. You want to support your teammates. The idea is connection with people around us. It's it's what make life actually worthwhile. Like if you have a great connection with a lot of people, your life will be so much easier. But then it doesn't mean that you would be connected with everyone on the same level. Is that you should be able to bring your strength at a time of distress in your company, in your class, where you work, and ensure that everyone says that, okay, this person's strength is what is actually helping us get through this. Then another thing is we need to be able to easily embrace our weaknesses. In an attempt to actually fix our weaknesses, we sometimes put up a facade, put up this whole shield of armor on I am trying to ensure that I am better at this. And then you tend to lose yourself in that process. Whereby, let me use a personal story. Um, let me use heartbreak as an example. I got my heart broken sometime say 2, 3 years ago, and I put up this particular shield up, and then it was really hard for me getting into relationships. And it became okay, my strength, I was beginning to lose my strength. Like people were like, okay, you were not like this before. What happened to you? And I kept on defending that I was trying to put myself in a better position so I don't get my heart broken and all that. But then one thing we don't know is by the time we put up this shield, we are not impacting people, we're not impacting the world, we're not impacting our community. We tend to lose focus on what we're supposed to do. We tend to look focused on how we are supposed to do things. And once you start losing focus, you are derailing. You are derailing, and there are a lot of people who are on that career path or on your community path that you need to impact their lives. Now, assuming you are not there to impact their lives, yes, definitely, someone might impact their lives, but then that is one person's success story that you've lost out of your whole ledger of people that you're supposed to help. So the idea is we need to embrace our strengths, find a way to work around our weaknesses, find a way as introverts, find a way to put yourself more out there, but do not lose yourself while doing that. Extrovert, you need to find a way to be able to relate with so much people and then know how to ensure that you are still you, because sometimes extroverts get a little bit extra, that so they get quite extra that they forget that people around them actually have feelings that they are hurting. So extroverts always try to ensure that, okay, I need to find a way to not hurt this person's feelings. I need to find a way not to make this person feel bad, because they just say a lot of things that maybe they are just joking and they may not take it as anything serious, but people are getting hurt. Then ambivert, that balance that you have is what is, so I could say, is one of the things that is keeping everyone's shit in the same, I don't know, like it's what is keeping everyone in the right state of mind. So let's all embrace our strengths. Let's all find a way to deal with our weaknesses in a way we don't lose each other. Once you are able to embrace your strength, you would be a way better colleague, you'll be a way better friend, you would be a way better member of your community, and you will impact the world through your strength in ways you didn't even know. Then, finally, honor your voice. In the midst of the whole clutter and everything that is out there, like right now, you want to find your unique strengths. Everybody's strengths are completely different. Don't try to force yourself. Say, let's use people who you know that you are courageous. In times of turmoil, you want to put your courage out there and ensure that everyone is getting calmed down. People who are motivational speakers. In a time of distress, you want to be sending out words of comfort to people that will motivate them that, see, there's a better tomorrow. People who their strength is kindness. You want to be kind. Sarcasm should not be something you are bringing in all the time. People actually, people's feelings actually get hurt, especially in the workplace. There are times that we feel, okay, it's at the workplace and we're all having a professional relationship, so you can just throw in some sort of sarcasm, all in the name of, yeah, I'm trying not to be emotional, or I'm trying not to make people feel um, uncomfortable. But then in the midst of that sarcasm, you make people feel uncomfortable. Some people go back and think about things deeply. So we always have to think about people before doing things that would hurt people. Thank you very much for attending my talk. Please, if you have any questions, this is the time. Thank you.
Like really so fast, we don't want you to go. We don't want the session to end basically because I could see everywhere boiling, like about your session. Everyone is talking about it.